Good morning, everybody.
Whew, not many plants out there right now.
Nope, but Frankie Flowers is here because he's going to take care of our indoor plants for us. You're answering questions as you do beautifully. First up, Eva Brown writes, I recently changed the soil for my bird of paradise because of a bad mealy bud infestation. I accidentally damaged the root, pulled one right off when doing so, and now I'm seeing brown on the new leaf growth. How can I help her thrive and be okay? Is the root damage going to affect her a lot? Thanks, Frankie.
Yeah, so anytime that we go and do any work on the roots, repotting or whatnot, there's stress that's going to happen to a plant. A natural way of showing stress on a plant is that's when a plant will go and see a little bit of a yellowish, tinge. So with the bird of paradise, generally what happens, you'll see that. Don't overwater. That's usually the reaction is it needs more water. You want it to really allow it to dry out in between waterings. Make sure the room that you have it in is in a nice humid location. As long as you use the potting soil, that potting soil has the ability to dry out, not sit too wet for too long, that bird of paradise should be fine. And plants can take a lot of abuse.
Do we get rid of these brown ones, though?
Yeah, you're going to cut these brown ones off. But plants, in terms of the root system, I don't know if I can get this guy yet. Plants in terms of, and you can see this one's sitting
is that a lot of water down
that's
there?
way too wet.
Was this Tracy Howlands?
Yeah, this is way too wet.
Tracy.
So sometimes too much water you can smell right now, too. You can actually smell when I pulled that out.
Like old fishbowl water.
You'll rot the roots,
It's
right?
been sitting too wet too long. But usually plants we can do, and this is the problem, too. This is a really good time to show this, too. Just using this plant.
It smells like
Is we can see that this
rotten
pot
eggs.
has no drainage in it, and because it has no drainage, there's nowhere for the water to sit. Yeah.
Okay, stop doing that now. Okay, we get the idea.
Hey, isn't it?
Don't put that much water in your plant. Holy cow.
Okay, up next,
That's
Jen.
right. You can smell it over there. Yeah? The
Severin,
camera guys are dying
it's
over
rough.
there.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Jen Severin writes, Frankie, question is about fungus gnats.
Yeah.
I'm confident they came in with my birds of paradise palm that I had outside all summer. Now the pests are taking over my Pachira and peace lily, both of which I will not risk losing. I have sticky sticks in the soil, ordered some neem oil online, heard it was a good trick. I'm curious to hear your opinion on the best way to get rid of these annoying pests. Hope you can spare your expertise.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
Jen.
fungus gnats are when you go to a plant and you put your hand across the soil, all of a sudden it looks like fruit flies coming out of that plant. That's what a fungus gnat is.
Okay.
The sticky strips that you showed there, and that was just one of the
fly catchers?
Fly catchers, because they're attracted to yellow. So they go to the yellow, and then what happens is they stick on there. That's one way to minimize. The next way to minimize is reducing water, because the environment that they want is a nice moist area with decaying matter. So cleaning up roots, cleaning up.
So there's probably a ton of them in here then, isn't
there? There could be. Not on these guys. There's no reason why we don't have them.
But like, take that out and empty the water.
Well, you empty the water, allow the plant to dry out, use the sticky strips. Neem oil shouldn't be available right now. Neem oil has actually been taken off the shelf due to the cosmetic pesticide ban. So sometimes people are buying that online. Okay. Neem oil, if it was available, could help, but reducing the amount of watering, using sticky strips will really get away from the fungus gnat populations, because that dry conditions, it can't thrive.
Can't thrive.
Okay.
Yeah. No source.
Yeah.
Let's get
Lorraine
a couple
writes
more
in, Frankie, why is my Majesty Palm leaf dying? It's getting plenty of light and water.
Yeah, so Majesty Palms, these guys here always get what's called spider mite. So if you go to the Majesty Palm, that's not a Majesty Palm, but that almost appears to look like that's a ZZ plant. A lot of the times on the stems, if you look close to the stems, you can see some webbing. That's an indication of spider mite. So you can use an insecticidal soap, something like Bug B Gone, that you could spray and take care of that. But anytime you start to see that yellowing on a Majesty Palm, usually means you have spider mite. So you take care of the spider mite, and then a little bit of watering. Now is that our daylight hours are starting to grow. As we get to March, we're going to increase watering as of March. But right now, we're in the darkest days right
dormant,
now.
right?
Very little water.
Yeah, very little water.
All right, let's get Robin Black, otherwise known as Boo Boo Bear.
Yeah.
I wanted to get that in there. I have a Christmas cactus, and it's red on the tips, and was wondering if it's sick or is it something else?
So those red tips, we talked about the browning leaves on tropical plants showing stress. A red tip on a Christmas cactus is showing stress, and sometimes it's just too pot bound. So if you look at that plant, it's been in there so long, there's no nutrient in there anymore. It's just all roots. So that's where maybe you should be doing a repotting at that time. They don't like to be repotted often, but they do over years need to be repotted. And that tip, that red tip, sometimes means to be repotted.
Can you cut some of the roots away if you want to leave it in that pot?
We can divide.
You can split it?
You can actually seed some natural divisions, and you could split it, make a few, or like Devo's Christmas cactus that needs water from this plant over here to here. We can also take some sections and do some propagation with that.
Do you cut off the red tips in that
No, that's not, because that's going to smell like no
swamp
tomorrow.
water. Oh, and his desk is beside mine.
Frankie?
You can, you pinch them off. So they're just sections. So what you're going to do with those red tips is you're just going to take your fingers just like this, and you're just going to pinch it off.
Okay.
That's it.
Great tips as always.
Beautiful.
Yeah.